We fixing to make this town real smoking.
In this video, we're going to talk about just some of the things that's going on Twitter that caught my eye, and I think you guys will find it very interesting. But at the start of this video, I want to ask the Tekken fans a question. Mortal Kombat's DLC 2 leaked. We have the list here. You have Cabal, Jade, Serene, Blaze, Doomguy, Ghostface, The Thing. For the cameos, you have Kai, Scarlet, Meat, Moloch, Shinnok, Hydro. It also says that Takeda's gameplay trailer will drop in early July around EVO, then will drop shortly after that. Combat Pack 2 will drop before the story expansion and will most likely be revealed around August or October. The question that I asked for you guys, one, do you think this is fire? I kind of think it's fire. Ghostface, Doomguy, The Thing, that's pretty cool. But the second thing is, Street Fighter revealed all of their DLC at once. Mortal Kombat, they did so the first time around, but that's because it leaked. This time around, it just leaked again. Will they reveal it all at once again? For Tekken 8, do you think they should? Season 2, announce all 4 characters at once, or just go one by one and let the players guess who's the next character will be. I mean, in terms of content, one by one will be pretty fun, but doing all at once is the more consumer friendly route to go because you know who you're paying for and you can properly shape your expectations. You're not waiting every day to see if Armor King or Bruce is announced. While you're thinking about that, here's something that I didn't like that Tekken did. Now, I know we were all upset at Tekken about March and then April, but it kind of calmed down and I'm happy for it. But we got to continue to call out bad practices where the bad practices exist. Everyone knows they just announced the wrestler skins. You have the female and you have the male. I thought it was pretty strange that Leo cannot wear neither. I know they want to play this whole game of like, oh, what's her gender? Is she girl? Is she boy? Is she neither?
So the real name, Eleanor Gleason is the real name. So Leo was a female, actually.
I get it. But at the same time, when it's constantly impacting how you can customize this character and then the conversation around the character is so toxic, like the comment section in this video, people are going to be calling each other names just for saying that the character is a different whatever, right? So I think that's very frustrating and I think it should end. But the part that I was going to say, the part that I really think is the problem is what they're doing with the female outfits. The outfit looks pretty amazing, but upon further inspection, Yellow Motion noticed that the female character's hair is simply a copy and paste from Nina. The right side is a little bit shorter, but it's pretty much the same exact thing. This is unacceptable. You're already selling us things that was free in Tekken 7, Tag 2, Tekken 6, and so on and so forth. But now you're going to sell us things that we already have in Tekken 8? That is unacceptable. Please do better. Please do better. I am so excited about this new update and the trajectory that Tekken 8 is on. Don't start the shenanigans again, please. Let's move on. IGN posted 10 hours ago at the time of recording this very weird and strange post. It says, "I'm everywhere. I'm so Julia." A lot of players looked at this and it was like, what are you hinting at? Especially when you look in the comment section. In the comment section, they posted this weird green IGN logo. Players were absolutely clueless. We know what season 1 is. It leaked. What are they teasing? Something for season 2? Something we don't know? I don't think it's that exciting. This green IGN logo is just a reference to an album released called Brat by Charlie XCX. And then in my opinion, IGN tweeting out Julia is a reference to Harada's poll where she wins. How the album and Julia correlates with one another, I don't know, but I think IGN is just doing it to just get some buzz. But when we shift our attentions once again and talk about Harada's poll, I covered the first 2 polls yesterday. There were supposed to be a total of 4. The last 2 will not be happening, and that's because of the Lucky Chloe players. They ruined it for everyone. The fun is no more. On the first poll, Eliza, Katarina, Julia / Michelle, and then Anna. 57,000 votes on that. Julia came in first place. On the second poll, you have Josie, Kunimitsu, Lucky Chloe, and Kazumi. 60,000 votes on that. Lucky Chloe comes in first place. Notice the 43%. This caught a lot of players by surprise, and those with a good eye, or at least a addiction to Twitter, was checking Harada's poll periodically, and they noticed that the Lucky Chloe players, they gained a lot of votes in a short amount of time. Roughly 12 minutes later, at 18:15, there is now 42,000 votes on this, and Lucky Chloe has jumped out of second place into first. Now this is an obvious sign of bots, and I think whoever did this is kind of stupid. If you want Lucky Chloe to win, first off, she's already in second place, but then two, just give her like 2,000 votes. 2,000 votes, you take first place, and then no one would ever notice. You did 8,000? That looks suspicious. Like I said, this person notified Harada of this, and here's his response. He says, "You know what? I don't need you to tell me everything." Harada be so sassy. I can imagine him wagging his finger as he's typing this. And I've said it before, my Twitter/X is always monitored by staff. I know what's going on. That's why I didn't tweet the C and B block survey I had tweeted earlier. So he was going to do the next 2 polls. That's 8 more characters, but the Lucky Chloe mains, they ruined it for all of us. I don't know when the next time Harada will do a poll is. It's a very rare occasion. It just gives the players a chance to show what characters they want to return. Now, when you talk about characters, not returning, but guest characters, there's so many different ideas thrown out there. You know, in the past, I was saying do an Attack on Titan type of character. He says, what about Levi Ackerman? Not so much a fit for Tekken's game systems. There's a few other tweets you guys can pause and read what he says and the character that people are suggesting, but I think it's interesting. Not only do we have to think about price, do we have to think about what the character represents, but we also got to think about how they transition into the game Tekken. Like a lot of people were saying Stellar Blade. Going off of that tweet from Harada, I don't think she would fit into the game. You know, one of my biggest requests was Godzilla. After seeing this tweet from Harada, I'm starting to think maybe he won't do that either. But there's still hope for my second guest character wish, and that for me is Sandy Cheeks. Put Sandy Cheeks in Tekken 8. It fits perfectly. Karate. Now here's something that's really interesting. A lot of people say Virtua Fighter, Virtua Fighter, Virtua Fighter. Harada responds and says, I consider it if there was a new game coming out, but it doesn't seem like there's a new game coming out. I added that part in myself. It's about time we had a young generation of players in the fighting game community say, who's Jackie? That's why VF needs an overwhelming new release. In parentheses, it says, by the way, even Geese Howard, when he was announced as a guest character, the young gamer generation said, who? And Sakurai said the same thing happened with Smash Bros. Terry. I do remember this. The legendary moment of JDCR jumping up and down when they announced Geese Howard, but then he later said he didn't even know who Geese Howard was. If JDCR don't know who Geese Howard is, how do you expect little Tommy to know who Jackie is? I think this is something a lot of Tekken players really need to process. Tekken skews on the older end, like 20, 30, 40. But Tekken, they want that young audience. Think about the Arcade Quest, the Tekken Lounge, the little Mii characters. And in order to do so, the type of guest characters you would get is drastically different from like ancient fighting games, like a Bloody Roar. He has some tweets in here about that. With that in mind, you know, Harada trying to reach a younger player base, I'm interested to see what he would do or who he would get. What character would satisfy the younger generation, but also satisfy the hardcore Tekken players. That's what makes Mortal Kombat so interesting. You can say whatever you want about their gameplay, their stories, graphics, whatever you want to talk trash about. But when it comes to guest characters, they knock it out the park each and every time. And in today's landscape, that's kind of all you need is that hype, that momentum, that excitement. And you sell copies and you break records and it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Harada has this really long tweet. It's too long to read, but I do want to break down some parts of it. He says, in general, one of the important conditions for collaborations between products of a similar genre is that it's a win-win relationship is established for both parties. And this is also something important too. When you talk about Harada doing like a Bloody Roar or Harada doing like a Virtua Fighter or some other obscure game that isn't currently booming, it will really be Tekken doing all of the heavy work, heavy lifting, and the other game kind of just benefiting off of it. Like if you think about Negan and The Walking Dead, yes, in hindsight, that wasn't the best idea, but if you go back to like 2015, 2016, 17, when they were having these discussions, The Walking Dead was like very up there. It was like peaking at that time. And with Tekken 7 kind of gaining a lot of momentum as well, it makes sense that those two were like, let's team up, unite, and do something great. It's just these things we have to understand and process when we're throwing out our ideas, because I see a lot of you guys' requests, and a lot of it is just very like not realistic. Like, it's a niche idea, it's a property that doesn't exist. It has to benefit Tekken as much as Tekken is benefiting the property.